Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning, except you're not in your bedroom. You're lying on cold dirt. The air smells like wet leaves. Somewhere nearby, something growls. You reach for your phone. Nothing. No signal. No flashlight. No Google Maps. No emergency number. No Uber. Just trees, rocks, and an entire world that's trying very hard to kill you. Congratulations. You just became the only modern human living 100,000 years ago. So, how long would you survive? A month? A week? One day? Maybe you're thinking, I've watched survival shows. I've been camping. I know how to make a fire. That's cute. Because the biggest problem isn't surviving the wilderness. It's surviving without civilization. Think about everything you've done today. Brushed your teeth, drank clean water, turned on a light, opened a refrigerator. Every one of those tiny actions depends on millions of people you've never met. Electricians, engineers, truck drivers, factory workers, farmers, water treatment plants. Modern life is basically one gigantic team project. You just forgot, because everyone else keeps doing their job. Take all of them away, and suddenly, you're just another ape with better vocabulary. Let's start with food. Most people assume hunting would be the answer. After all, our ancestors hunted mammoths. How hard can it be? Well, have you ever tried catching a deer? Not with a rifle, not with a bow, not with a truck. Just your legs. Spoiler, the deer wins. Every time. Humans are terrible sprinters. A horse is faster. A wolf is faster. Even your neighbor's overweight Labrador would probably beat you. So, how did ancient humans hunt? Here's the crazy part. Sometimes, they didn't outrun animals. They exhausted them. It's called persistence hunting. Imagine jogging after an antelope for 6 hours, not stopping, not losing sight of it, just following, while the animal keeps sprinting away, over and over again. Eventually, it overheats. Humans sweat better than almost any mammal on Earth. We're basically endurance machines, wrapped in bad software. Would you manage that? Honestly, most of us get annoyed when the grocery store parking lot is full. Maybe you'd decide to gather food instead. That sounds easier. Until you realize you have absolutely no idea what you're looking at. Every berry is a multiple-choice question. Some keep you alive. Some make you vomit. Some quietly destroy your liver. One of them kills you before sunset. Modern humans have outsourced knowledge. Your ancestors couldn't. A child growing up 100,000 years ago learned thousands of edible plants, animal tracks, seasonal migrations, water sources, and poisonous lookalikes. Not from YouTube, from experience. Usually, painful experience. Imagine standing in front of 3 identical mushrooms. One is dinner. One gives you hallucinations. One ends your bloodline. Good luck. But food isn't even your biggest problem. Water is. Today, clean water comes from a tap. Back then, every sip was a gamble. That beautiful stream? Maybe an animal died upstream. Maybe parasites are floating inside. Maybe yesterday's rain washed bacteria into it. Your brain would say, water. Your stomach would say, that was a mistake. Ironically, one of the deadliest things in prehistory looked perfectly refreshing. Now suppose you've somehow eaten. You've found water. The sun begins to set. You need shelter. Where do you sleep? A cave? Great idea. Unless something else already lives there. Hyenas, bears, big cats, snakes. Turns out, real estate has always been competitive. Even sleeping in a tree isn't ideal. Humans aren't monkeys anymore. We're surprisingly bad at not falling out. One awkward roll at 3 in the morning, and evolution selects someone else. Sleep itself becomes dangerous. Modern humans think sleep is relaxing. Ancient humans treated it like a calculated risk. And then there are the predators. Movies love showing humans fighting saber-toothed cats. Reality was far less heroic. Your ancestors weren't superheroes. They avoided fights whenever possible, because every injury mattered. Today, you cut your hand, you get stitches. 100,000 years ago, the same cut becomes infected. A week later, you're dead. There were no antibiotics, no hospitals, no painkillers, no dentists. Actually, forget the predators. The first toothache might finish you first. But wait, I'm smart. I know science. True, you probably know what bacteria are. You know the Earth goes around the sun. You know atoms exist. Fantastic. Can you make a knife? From stone? Can you identify iron ore? Can you smelt metal? Can you weave a basket? Can you tan animal hides? Can you make rope? Could you build a spear? Without visiting a hardware store, knowledge isn't the same as skill. I know airplanes exist. That doesn't mean I can build a Boeing in my garage. Here's something even more surprising. The hardest challenge might be loneliness. Humans evolved in tribes. Almost nobody survived alone, not because individuals were weak, because groups were incredibly efficient. Someone gathered berries, someone hunted, someone watched children, someone spotted predators, someone knew where water was, somebody always knew something. You didn't. Now imagine you're alone. Every decision becomes yours. Every mistake is permanent. You don't just lose companionship. You lose thousands of years of shared knowledge. That's a terrifying trade. But maybe you find a tribe. Problem solved? Not exactly. Remember, you don't speak their language. Not really. Pointing only gets you so far, especially if what you're accidentally pointed at belongs to somebody important. Trust wasn't automatic. You aren't wearing familiar clothes. You don't know local customs. You don't know who the leader is, or which plants are sacred, or whether smiling means peace or stupidity. You might possess incredible modern knowledge, but unless you can convince people, it's useless. Civilization isn't built on intelligence. It's built on cooperation. Here's the funny part. Some modern skills would still be surprisingly valuable. You understand basic hygiene. You know boiling water helps. You know food should be cooked thoroughly. You understand infections. That knowledge alone might save lives. Of course, first you'd need to explain germs to people who have never seen a microscope. Good luck with that. You'd probably sound completely insane. Trust me, tiny invisible creatures. Sure. And next you'll tell them people can fly across oceans inside giant metal birds. So, could one modern human survive 100,000 years ago? For a little while? Maybe. If you're lucky. If you find water. Avoid predators, avoid disease, avoid poisonous food, avoid injuries, and hopefully, find a tribe willing to accept you. Long term? Probably not. Not because you're weak, because you're missing something far more important than muscles. You're missing civilization. Every human alive today is standing on a mountain of knowledge built by countless generations before us. We like to imagine ourselves as independent, self-made, capable. But the truth is, almost everything we know came from someone else. Somebody invented fire-making techniques. Somebody discovered which berries were poisonous. Somebody figured out how to make better spears. Somebody learned medicine. Somebody built agriculture. Somebody invented writing. Somebody created electricity. And eventually, somebody invented food delivery. Arguably, humanity's greatest achievement. The point is, you're not just one human. You're carrying the knowledge of millions. Take all of that away, and you're remarkably ordinary, which might be the most surprising lesson of all. Our ancestors didn't survive because they were individually tougher than us. They survived because, together, they built something no other animal ever managed. A species that shares knowledge across generations. So if you ever feel guilty because you had to Google how long to boil an egg, don't worry. Your prehistoric ancestors would probably have Googled it too, if they'd had Wi-Fi.